Have you noticed that everyone keeps saying the 2026 World Cup is bigger than ever, but almost nobody explains what actually changed? It's not just that there are more teams, the entire tournament works differently now. More countries, more matches, a brand new knockout round. And yes, your favorite team now has a much better chance of making history. Sounds amazing, right? Well, not everyone thinks so. Some fans say this is the greatest change FIFA has ever made. Others think it could ruin the World Cup. So, what really changed? And why does adding just 16 more teams completely transform football's biggest tournament? Let's explain it in under 4 minutes. For decades, the World Cup followed a simple formula: 32 teams, 8 groups, 4 teams in each group. Everyone played 3 matches. The top 2 teams moved on. Easy. Even if you had never watched football before, you could figure it out after a few games. Then FIFA looked at one big problem. The world has over 200 national teams. Only 32 could qualify. That means most countries never even got close. Imagine inviting only 32 students to the biggest school party when over 200 wanted to come. You already know what happens next. A lot of people feel left out. So FIFA asked a simple question: what if more countries got a chance? That's where everything changed. Starting with the 2026 World Cup, there won't be 32 teams anymore. There will be 48. At first, that doesn't sound like a huge difference. It's just 16 more teams, right? Not even close. Here's where it gets interesting. Adding 16 teams doesn't just add 16 flags, it changes the entire tournament structure. Instead of 64 total matches, there will now be 104. That's 40 extra games. Basically, it's almost like adding another mini World Cup inside the World Cup. Yeah, that's a lot of football. Now let's talk about the biggest change: the group stage. Originally, FIFA planned something completely different. They wanted 16 groups with only 3 teams each. On paper, it sounded simple. In practice, fans hated the idea. Why? Because one team would always be resting while the other two played. That could create strange situations where teams knew exactly what result they needed before kickoff. You know the type. The boring match where nobody attacks because both teams are happy with the score. Not exactly peak entertainment, so FIFA changed the plan. Now the tournament keeps 12 groups of 4 teams. Much more familiar. Each team still plays 3 group matches. That part stays nice and simple, but after that, everything changes. In the old World Cup, only 16 teams reach the knockout stage. Now, 32 teams qualify. Think about that for a second. Half the tournament used to go home after the groups. Now 2/3 of the teams survive. That's a massive difference. And because 32 teams now reach the knockouts, there's an entirely new round: the round of 32. Before anyone can even think about the round of 16, they have to survive one extra knockout match, which also means one more chance for drama, one more chance for penalties, and one more chance for a giant upset, because football loves chaos. This also changes qualification itself. Countries that almost never reach the World Cup now have a realistic chance. Teams from Africa, Asia, North America, Oceania, and smaller football nations across the world receive more qualification spots. For millions of fans, this isn't just another tournament. It's the first time they might actually see their country on the biggest stage. That's pretty cool. Of course, there are downsides too. More teams mean more matches, more travel, a longer tournament. Some people worry the quality of the early games could drop because weaker teams are included. That's a fair concern. But others argue something different. How do small football nations become stronger if they never get the opportunity to play against the best? Honestly, that's a difficult question. History shows that every football powerhouse started somewhere. Nobody becomes a giant overnight. And sometimes, the biggest World Cup stories come from teams nobody expected. That's why underdogs exist. So, did FIFA simply make the tournament bigger? Not really. They changed almost everything. More teams, more matches, more knockout football, more countries with hope, and probably more unforgettable moments. So the next time someone says, "It's just a bigger World Cup," you'll know the truth. It's actually a completely different tournament. And now the real question is, will the 48-team World Cup create more football magic or make the tournament too big? We'll all find out in 2026. If this explanation made the World Cup finally make sense, subscribe for more simple football explainers, because football is complex.